Beijing has accused Malaysia of infringing on its sovereignty after its Southeast Asian neighbor filed an extended shelf claim in the disputed South China Sea. China's permanent mission to the United Nations also urged the UN Commission on the Limits of the Continental Shelf not to consider Malaysia's submission, seeking to establish the outer limits of its legal continental margin beyond the 200 nautical mile limit. China has internal waters, territorial sea and a contiguous zone based on its South China Sea islands. China has an exclusive economic zone and continental shelf. China has historic rights in the South China Sea, the Chinese mission said in a diplomatic note to United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres. Coastal countries like Malaysia can establish the outer limits of their legal continental margin seaward of their 200 nautical mile limit under the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea. Malaysia's submission was made for the part of its continental shelf that extends beyond 200 nautical miles in the northern area of the South China Sea. The move could help Malaysia to establish rights over all of the seabed and subsoil resources, including oil and gas reserves that may exist in the area. A U.S.-made surveillance drone Global Hawk arrived at a South Korean military base. A spokesperson for South Korea's defense ministry announced the delivery at a news conference, but the spokesperson didn't mention any details. South Korea's Yonhap news agency reported that the large drone is the first of 4 aircrafts that Seoul plans to introduce in the first half of 2020. The agency said the aircraft landed at an Air Force base in Sakine on southern tip of the Korean peninsula and is preparing for deployment. The Global Hawk is equipped with infrared sensors and radar that can seek and monitor targets on the ground, even at night or in bad weather. South Korea plans to strengthen its monitoring of North Korea, which has repeatedly launched ballistic missiles. Pyongyang is expected to oppose Seoul's introduction of the surveillance drone. The U.S. Senate has passed a $738 billion defense bill that includes further support for Taiwan and assessments of Beijing's military capabilities. The final version of the National Defense Authorization Act, NDAA, which will go to the White House for approval, provides for a 2.8% increase in U.S. military spending and outlines measures to counter U.S. adversaries such as China and Russia. It would require reports on Beijing's military capabilities, Chinese investments in the Arctic. Beijing claims the self-ruled, democratic Taiwan as part of its own territory, and has not renounced the use of force to bring the island into its fold. Although the U.S. is not a formal diplomatic ally of Taiwan, it has long supported the island with arms sales and on the international stage.
Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you like the channel and want to support, please support on Patreon or PayPal. The details are given below in the description.